It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Frank Gorman, who owns the Ultimate Sports Network, a sports network. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, Brandon.
Can you talk about, of course, how you got started with your sports network?
Well, it's a simple thing, really. I'm a sports nerd. Have been since I was a little kid. Probably even younger than that. So I'm the kid that read Basketball Digest instead of reading comic books. So I've been a sports nerd, a sports stat guy since I was a little kid. Played sports and all of that. But it's something where I started talking to a buddy of mine that I knew in college. He moved away. He lived in Maryland. I was still in Ohio. We were both journalism majors. Actually had got a master's in journalism and draft. I'm sorry. And we started talking and realized we're actually doing a sports talk show. Now at that point, sports talk was kind of new, but it was still something that was in the forefront of our minds. And so we started playing around with the idea of we should be able to do a sports talk show. Well, it's easy to say that, except for you're working a regular job and you've got to coordinate schedules and all that stuff, and it's kind of tough to do. So as we started talking about that, and we started talking to other people about what we were doing, and that time was strictly radio, so we had no idea it was going to expand any further than that. And I talked to a few people that were mentors of mine, and people who were trying to help other people in our situation out. They asked me, "What are you going to do when this becomes video?" And I said, "Well, that'll be like 2057. I'm not worried about that. That's a long ways off." And then within a couple of years, these kind of things, Zoom and Skype and things were available to us. Like, we can do this as video. Wow, how about that? So we started talking about that. We started talking to other people, like-minded individuals such as ourselves, and a network was born.
Can you talk about, of course, what you offer in your sports network?
Well, really, what we offer is what we're doing right now. If you are a sports fan, and for example, I use this example all the time, no offense to anyone else. If you're a Chicago White Sox fan and you want sports talk information, entertainment on a 24/7 basis, you're not getting it. If you're in Chicago, you're going to get Cubs. You may get a couple of minutes of White Sox stuff here and there. You're going to get the Bears and the Blackhawks and the Bulls and all that. You're not going to get much of that. Same in other cities. If you don't care anything about basketball, but you're a baseball fan, we're going to offer you 24/7 Chicago White Sox information and entertainment. All across the board, not podcasted, not tape delayed. It's going to be live broadcast. Do the same thing for the Denver Broncos, do the same thing for the Miami Heat, all across the country. So we offer you that at a price that's ridiculously low. Zero. We generate our revenue from advertising, not from subscriptions.
Can you talk about, of course, the process of running a sports network, as I just started a sports network not too long ago?
Well, there are two things you have to keep in mind. One, it's a passion play. If you don't have passion for what you're doing and for sports in general, a particular team in general, they're just going to go, and the Suns had a game today, and that's. You have to have people passionate about what they want to talk about and what they want to interact with people about. The second thing is you have to keep in mind it's a business. And it's a business where we employ people 24/7. We employ people they don't have to umpire softball to make ends meet. We're going to employ them as actual people. So in that vein, you have to actually bring in money. So that's where the numbers come in. It's a regular business. You have to be able to bring in advertising revenue, and you have to be able to pay out your salaries and your expenses. Understand you have to bring in pay out. Pretty simple.
Does your sports network only offer for sports podcasts, or do you do sports blogs too?
Right now, we're focusing on the audio visual part, the actual live interaction. Because the way the world is working right now, people are in 3 seconds, and then that's it. If you're going to write an article or a column, that's one thing, But we don't really go for and here's a 5-line piece of information, and that's it. You can get that from Twitter. That's fine.
On your sports network, can you talk about the promoting aspect of do you promote them and what that entails?
Well, we promote everybody. I mean, you work for us, so we want people to know you're out there. So if you're doing a show for the Washington Wizards, we want people to know they're doing the show for the Washington Wizards. So we promote the heck out of it. Yeah, I mean, we're nothing without our talent. Absolutely nothing at all. So a lot of the people that we employ have come from doing their own blogs, doing their own podcasts. So we want them to bring their audience with them. But we also cross promote from, say, for example, the Chiefs are playing the Falcons for a game. So we'll cross promote between the Falcon station and the Chiefs station, and we'll do the matchup that way. So you can get audience from one station, audience from another station, and that promotes the talent as well. So yeah, we're nothing without our talent, not at all. We have to promote them.
In your sports network, do you offer, of course, I see you have football, basketball, baseball, and hockey right above your head. Do you offer those on your network?
Everything. So it's football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, tennis, golf, auto sports, boxing, MMA, women's sports, all that stuff. And it's not just a broad thing. It's, for example, football, we'll do CFL, we'll do the BC Lions, we'll do the Atlanta Falcons, we'll do the Dallas Cowboys. Basketball, right now it's just NBA, but we'll get into G League later. Baseball, we'll get into minor leagues later, but it's all the Major League Baseball teams. Hockey, all the NHL hockey teams. Soccer's MLS right now. Once we figure out how we're going to attack the European side of things, we'll get Bundesliga, Premier League, La Liga, all that stuff together as well. So you get PSG, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, all that'll come in as we get down the road.
Can you talk about, of course, the day-to-day as running a sports network?
Again, it's just a business. You have to look at it, again, it's a dichotomy. You look at it as a business. So you have your structure already put in place. You have your executives, you have your people that run their side of things, and then you have your people that do the job. And that's as simple as it is. You don't step on people, you don't make them do things they don't want to do, but you also have guidelines. And as long as they fit in those guidelines, you're fine. So that's the easy part, is running it day to day. Because the day to day is just taking care of everyone doing their job. You have accounting, you have HR, you have all of that on one side, which again is simple to process once you put the guidelines in place. And then on the other side, you have people that have to do what I'm used to doing, running my mouth and talking about sports. That's easy too. Just say, for example, the Astros just lost George Springer to the Blue Jays. Astros people, what do you think? Blue Jays people, what do you think? There's a show.
What advice would you give upcoming sports networks looking to get started just like I did?
Understand it's a grind. Understand that it's not easy. Understand that no one is going to throw money at you to do this. Because the thing that they're going to say is, have you earned enough money for us to invest in you? And the answer to that is usually, if I had the money that I needed, I wouldn't need you to invest in me. So that's not the way it works. You have to do like, say, Bleacher Report did. Even though I don't like the model they started with, they had to build their concept for someone to buy them. Okay, understand that it's a grind, but it's a good grind because you're talking about sports. Remember the passion of what you're doing, not the business of it, because the business is something separate. If you don't have the passion, it's not going to work. You can have the greatest business model in the world, but people won't follow a business model. They will follow passion.
What advice where can my listeners find, of course, your sports network on social media?
We are at OneUSN on Twitter, and everything else is Ultimate Sports Network or Ultimate Sports Networks, depending upon where you're at. So our website is Ultimate Sports, plural, networks, plural.com. Facebook, we have, USN Atlanta, USN Sacramento, USN Boston, and all our various shows are on there as well. So if it's your city, it's on Facebook. So if you're in Dallas, there's USN Dallas. As you can see above my corner here, my shoulder here, USN America is our flagship station, but they're all over the place. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. If you go to our website, you'll find our Linktree link to everything, and you can find everything from there.
That's wonderful. Thank you again, Frank, for your interview, and best of luck with Ultimate Sports Network.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate you having me on.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Frank, for your interview, and best of luck with Ultimate Sports Network.
Thank you, sir.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.